Hey everyone, I am starting to do medium level scenarios. This time it's a do type of scenario where there is no automated check. Try and figure out if you're inside a container like a Docker one, for example, or inside a VM. This scenario is called Venice, and I really like it because it poses a question. Can you actually find out if you are inside a Docker or inside a virtual machine? So containers are usually like a replacement for virtual machines. They create a virtual environment where you kind of like tell your program that you're having an entire virtual machine at your disposal. But unlike VMs, containers take up much less resources and space, which was the whole idea behind the containers, right? So sometimes it's kind of like important if you want to be a prominent, if you want to be proficient at sysops and Linux troubleshooting, it's important to know the difference and quickly figure out what are the signs or properties that indicate that you are actually inside a Docker versus inside a virtual machine. So right now, I don't know whether it is a Docker container or actually a machine, an entire machine. So let's do cd home admin. Whoops, there is none. So what are the ways? Just ask yourself, what makes a Docker container? What are the signs or properties that we are inside a Docker container? Honestly, I didn't know how to figure this out, didn't know how to distinguish, and I basically looked up the solution. And so the idea is that you look inside the PID, the process ID 1. You look inside the first process ID, all of the related sort of files, and you actually look into environment. So environment contains all of the environments, and if it actually was a VM, there would be a bunch of kernel level processes running. So this is one way, and another way is to actually look into the environment file. It has all of the past stuff, and it has external container. You looked there you go. So we found that if it is a container, it has some environment variables related to container. So we're actually running inside a container. Yeah, that's the first way. The second way is probably to do something like you basically check all of the containers. No, basically check if there is kernel threads running. So let's actually see the clues. Yeah, so an indicator is to look at the running process and see that there are no kernel threads like kthread add. So I could probably Google and see like, so PS stands for process, AUXF allows us to filter and show only specific properties, and we want to find like if there is any process name starting with K. So if we actually do the whole thing, you would see that there is, yeah, so we have container, and if it was a VM, if it was a virtual machine, there would be something like k thread add. I remember I showed it in another library, in another lab. So this is clear indicator that there is no, so there is no process starting with k thread something. So this is actually a container. And like I said before, another way is to find that there is actually some container environment variables.